I suspect my husband having an affair with my friend, so I told her husband about it.
Ooh, it's getting juicy in here.
My husband and I have had our ups and downs through our relationship of 12 years, but we have always stuck together and helped raise each other up when we are down. We have a mutual friend, let's call her Jade, who is married to my husband's friend, who we'll call Fred. By the way, this comes from Crappy Friend Throwaway, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. So a few years ago, my husband and I went through a really rough patch where we were separated for a few months. During that time, we were able to work out our differences, and he moved back home. Things were a lot better than before with the split, but we still had our ups and downs. During that time, I confided in two of my close friends, Jade and Mary. Jade was always pretty quiet about the whole thing. I see you. Which I assumed was due to the fact that she and her husband Fred were also friends with my husband. Mary was quite vocal, which is how her personality is. She has no filter and tells me how it is, whether you want to hear it or not. After my husband had moved back home, I noticed that Jade acted oddly around him. She would turn red or act slightly flirtatious.
No.
My husband never reciprocated
Yes.
or even seemed to notice, so I assumed it was all in my head. About a year ago, Jade and Fred separated, and Jade moved into a house in my neighborhood.
Dude, she's moving it. She's encroaching on your territory.
I thought this was odd because Jade and Fred lived about an hour away. That is odd. During this time, Jade would always call my husband and ask him to do favors for her, to come and help move some boxes.
Move boxes? That's what we're calling it now?
Or do
That's what
some
we've been calling it for a while now.
or do some minor home repairs.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Your home's getting repaired.
Yeah, some holes need to be fixed.
No big deal, right? He was the only male she knew in the general area. But I noticed her odd behavior seemed to increase. Her conversations with him on social media increased tenfold, and the frequency in which she texted me dropped. Also, her flirting seemed to increase. One day, Mary was over at my house and we were hanging out, and Jade stopped by. Us three girls were in the living room talking, and my husband came in the room for something. I don't remember why now, but Jade's whole demeanor changed. She sat up straight, sort of fixed her hair a little bit and all that. I noticed, but again, I thought I was being paranoid. Jade left not much later. After Jade left, Mary turned to me and said, Jade acts so weird around him. If I didn't know any better, I'd say she had a crush on him.
But you do know better.
I was shocked that someone else had noticed. I confided in Mary that I had been noticing strange behavior from Jade for a long time, but my husband seemed to be totally clueless. We had a conversation about it, and I felt better knowing it wasn't all in my head. I did not feel threatened by her advances or question my husband's relationship with her in any way. Later that night, jokingly, I mentioned to my husband what Mary and I discussed. He seemed shocked and thought the whole thing was ridiculous. He did concede it was strange that all of the places Jade would have moved during her split from Fred, she chose our neighborhood.
Yeah, because she wants to unsplit with your husband. Wants to split her legs for your husband.
Thank you. Thank you. You read my mind. He denied having an inappropriate relationship with Jade, and I believed him. We joked about the absurdity of the whole situation. Fast forward a year, and Jade is back with Fred. And Jade's friendship with my husband has seemed to grow stronger.
No, girl, you gotta.
Gotta pick one. They talk online a lot, text each other quite frequently. I never accused my husband of having an affair, but their relationship did cause me to raise my eyebrows. Jade rarely speaks to me anymore, and my husband rarely speaks of Jade. Now I'm about to admit something I'm not proud of, but my curiosity was getting the better of me. So, I checked my husband's private messages on the social media site in which they talk. There were a lot of messages, mostly from his friends and a few from me, but none from Jade. Dating back over a year. And it's clarified the messages were threads, so even if I don't message him for 3 weeks, it will show up in a single thread with my old messages. I felt like a terrible person, but breathed a sigh of relief. Sort of. I still had a nagging feeling, so I checked his email. I know, I'm a crappy person for doing this. He had an email from the social media site saying he had received a private message from Jade the previous night at 11:30 p.m. The message just said, "You awake?" But I had just looked at his private messages and there wasn't one from Jade. He deleted it.
Dang.
He kept all the others but deleted the one from Jade, or many since the messages are in threads and he deleted the thread. How peculiar. My relationship with my husband is currently in one of our rough patches. We go through waves, but we are always able to make it work because we are in love. But this time, it's different. Rather than discussing our problems, my husband has started saying things like, we are too different to make this work.
Whoa.
We have
So
very
he's-
different personalities.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
he's logged. I was just going to say, he's logged out of the relationship too.
Dang. But it has always been one of our favorite things about our marriage. He's able to pick up in areas which I'm lacking and vice versa. I was completely shocked to hear him say this. He has mentioned having problems with my personality that he's never once in 12 years had a problem with. Probably because he's with someone else that has a similar personality to him. Every trait is picking out are things that he has in common with Jade. I freaking called that. For example, I don't drink or go out. Jade does. I don't like the same music as him. Jade does. Little things like that. I asked him if he wanted to move out, and he started panicking, saying he didn't know what he wants. Basically, he's acting like he doesn't know who to decide between. Of course, this is all speculation. That's why I'm here. If I ask either one of them if there's something going on between them, of course, they will deny it. If I ask Fred if Jade has been acting oddly lately, I will seem like a crazy person. I don't know how to find out what's going on. How do I find out whether or not they're having an affair? Can I? Edit. I checked our phone records online, and while my husband and I are having a very tense and heated text conversation today, he was also texting back and forth with a number that I do not recognize. I typed it into my phone, but I don't have a contact for that number, so it might not be Jade. I might say because Fred is very wealthy, and I wouldn't be surprised if Jade has two phones. As I was leaving work, I called Mary and asked her to call the number and ask who it was, to pretend she had the wrong number. She did, and said that there was no answer, and the voicemail message was a generic one with no name. I'm going to do some detective work tonight, and I will update if I come across anything. Edit 4. I just remember Fred has an iPhone genius, so Jade would likely know better than to do anything unsavory on her iPhone because Fred would find out. I'm leaning towards her having a second phone, but again, no proof. I know most are convinced he is having an affair, and while I feel better knowing I'm not crazy for thinking this, it absolutely sucks. But I don't feel like I have enough to find proof yet. I need concrete evidence. Edit 2. We work opposite shifts. He's home alone all day. Jade lives an hour away but doesn't work, so she has the time to make the drive. I'm thinking of setting up a nanny cam. Any suggestions on which one? She's getting down. She's getting into it.
Things are happening, man.
Things are
She's
emotional.
cooking.
Edit 3, Mary has a friend that runs a business and pays for background check services, so she's going to see if she can find out whose number he was texting today.
Ooh.
Update. So yesterday I tracked my husband with GPS and watched where he was going during the day. When I saw he was in a car traveling fast down a road out of town, I casually texted him and asked what he was up to. He said he was walking to the store, which was in the opposite direction of where he was headed.
Maybe he was going to a far store.
I watched him all day, stopping here and there, going out to eat with her, traveling all over the place. I would periodically text him to make conversation, and he would lie the entire time. At one point, he said he was just walking around the neighborhood thinking about us.
Dude, he keeps telling you that he's not like, he's like, I don't know if this relationship works. I'm thinking about us. This man wants to break up with you.
My blood was boiling. I knew he was with someone who had an iPhone because there were no calls or texts made that morning. So he must have communicated via iMessage. Jade has an iPhone, and I highly suspect he was with her, but I had no proof. After she was dropped off at home, he texted me saying he was sorry for being distant today. He was doing a lot of thinking. I didn't tell him I knew he was lying the whole day because I had planned to gather more evidence. Later in the evening, I couldn't take it anymore. I asked him where he was all day. And he said, what do you mean? I told you I was walking around. In my rage, I say, I know you were lying. I know where you've been. He admitted to spending a little time with Jade, that they went and grabbed something to eat. I told him I knew about everywhere he went. And I knew about the late night phone calls while I was watching him yesterday. I checked the phone records and saw an unbelievably amount of phone calls going back and forth between them. Why are you calling back and forth so many times? You go one call and you're good. I don't know why I didn't think to check the call records on Monday. I knew about the secret private messages on social media. I knew about it all. He confessed that he and Jade had gotten really close and spent a lot of time together, talking. At first, he said it was innocent. I told him if it was innocent, he wouldn't be lying and sneaking around. He agreed and admitted he knew what he was doing was wrong. By the way, you can do no wrong if you go to your favorite podcast platform, search up OK Storytime, and listen to us 24/7. We got 50 days right there for you. Just check us out. I texted Fred last night and told him everything I knew.
Ooh,
Going straight to the
finally.
source. He said he had been uncomfortable with their relationship for a while, but didn't know if I was or if I even knew. We talked for a while, but I don't know what they're going to do. All I know is I am getting a divorce. My husband claims the relationship was never physical, but I can never trust him again. No matter what he does or where he goes, I will always question who he is with and if he is lying to me. I cannot and will not spend my life tracking my husband and making sure he's where he needs to be and where he says he is, and isn't sneaking around with other women. I deleted and blocked Jade off all my social media accounts. I didn't text her or say anything to her. I know if I even tried, I would end up saying some pretty foul stuff to her, which she deserves, but I'm better than that. So not only did I lose an extremely crappy friend in this whole thing, I'm losing my best friend, the love of my life, and the father of my children. I am destroyed. She didn't even say she had kids. Oh
Ooh.
my God. Yeah, that is the end of that one.
Icky, icky.